Good evening, everyone. This is Ryan Smelts. We're back again for another Business and Brews. Glad to see you here. I know I might sound a little bit different, but I'm working on my southern accent.
Welcome to the Business and Brews podcast, where our mission is to highlight local businesses in the Triangle area and shed light on different industries.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. So, like I just said, I might sound a little different, but ladies and gentlemen, welcome back again. I'm really excited to be here. I'm excited to have Gavin back with us again.
Here we go. We're back. Yeah, and you guys are not double taking. This is not Ryan twice.
I know that's right. So, ladies and gentlemen, tonight I have the pleasure of introducing to you Paul Roberts of Dumpster Crushr. Paul, tell us who you are and what you do.
I'm Paul Roberts. I'm with Crushr Raleigh, and we help people save money on their open-top roll-off dumpsters by crushing their trash.
Nice.
It's a nice, unique, new concept that we're rolling out here in a couple weeks in the Raleigh area. Mm-hmm. And if you got roll-off dumpsters, it's a great way to save at least 20%.
I like it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for being here, man. We appreciate you for being on the show.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me. And
No
I've
problem.
known Ryan for a while and been watching the show, and it's
Well,
exciting to be here and be a part of it.
Nice.
Thank you for the support. But real quick, before we get too far into this, I just have to know, how did you guys meet? Like, what's were you
this
guys
is a
like in
good
a store or
story.
something and you thought you were looking in a mirror, or?
I'm going to let him tell it.
So we were at a networking event in Apex, and obviously people with beards are attracted to other people with beards, and he walked in, and right away I was like,
It's involuntary.
It's involuntary.
I was like, hey man, high five. We ain't ever met before in our entire lives. I'm just, hey man, high five. We high fived, and from there it was just, staying in touch and just keeping in touch. I mean, we connected, and it was about helping each other and seeing what we could do, and here we are. It's been right at a year now.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right at a year is about a month or so before the grand opening of the bookstore.
Yeah.
I feel like it was a little longer than that.
Was it?
Yeah, because it was because last year I had the e-commerce stuff going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I got a bad memory, man. I feel like it was closer to April or May.
I got the World War II veteran there.
Yeah. 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 So yeah, that's how it all started. And
Awesome.
I think the number one thing that I like about Paul, and one of the reasons we're still friends, is because I probably knew him for 3 months before I had a firm grasp of what he actually did. And I put him to work when I gave him the opportunity to tell me. I said, the rule is nobody stands around. Here, get to work.
Nice.
Now tell me what you do. And he was a champ. He was a champ. He was like, all right, let's do it.
Yeah. So he's more of a doer like you, huh?
Yeah, a little bit.
I like it.
I dig it.
Yeah.
It was fun. So, okay, so
Did I throw you off a little bit?
Yeah,
kind of throw you off a little bit. Hey, but just other than the whole twins thing.
What about the script?
Yeah, what about the script? I spent so much time on the script. That's all right.
In the military, we don't defer from what we said we were going to do. We didn't train for this.
Sorry. All right,
So what Gavin's trying to say is, ladies and gentlemen, you're not crazy. We're at TREK CBD Studios once again. Yes. I want to give a shout out to Nick and Scott for letting us do this.
Yeah.
It's been a blast. I would like to talk a little bit because I brought my mom up here. She had some pain management that she was struggling with. And one day when I get some B-roll of the front of their store, you'll see that it's very open and nothing, as Nick likes to say, nothing is behind glass. So when I was a little kid, I used to go in the stores and Mom would say, don't touch, don't touch, don't touch. Theirs is set up slightly different, so you can actually touch. You can take it off the shelf. You can read the label. You can look, you can smell, you can ask questions. It's very welcoming. Like I said, the main reason I like what they do here at TREK CBD is because it deals a lot with that pain management, the anxiety. If someone is having trouble sleeping, really all different types of things. So, you know, in the world we're in today, you guys both know that people can get pretty stressed out, and everything they have here helps that in one way or another. And not just for you, but for your pets as well. They have an entire pet section right behind the camera there. Yeah. But especially because we're still social distancing and we can't leave home, I tell everyone, because they offer free shipping on pretty much all their products. So just go to trekcbd.com. I went ahead, I threw the link in the description of the video, but you can just go order on trekcbd.com and then it shows up on your doorstep. You can take care of whatever it is. You can contact them via the website as well. Nick is very prompt in responding to all of those questions, comments, and concerns. So whether your problem is with stress, anxiety, pain management, or having trouble sleeping, like sometimes we all do, reach out to them on the website at trekcbd.com and be sure to ask those questions.
Yeah, I mean, and I know with it being such a new industry with CBD, I mean, a lot of people have a lot of questions. These guys, Nick and Scott, are great as far as answering it. They're very knowledgeable in their field. And just like you said, I mean, in these times, anxiety, I think, is the thing that most people actually deal with. And it is a good solution for that. So definitely be sure to stop by and see these guys or check them out online, trekcbd.com. And we're in Trek CBD Studio.
Yeah, I definitely want to stress that because the studio is just this 8-foot square space right here.
Yeah.
This is the Trek CBD Studios. The rest,
Yeah. Nice.
I love it though, man. Okay, so Gavin, what have you been up to this week?
You know, just really diving into studying. I've got a couple certifications that I'm actually taking to prepare for a couple things I have going on, which will roll out here in the next couple weeks. So I'm pretty excited about it once I pass these certification tests and I can actually release it live. But
yeah. I'm excited too. I want to know what's going on.
Yeah. But other than that, everything's been good. I mean, you know, family's doing well. Nice. Son's doing great. Wife's doing well. So that's all you can ask for. It is actually next month. 28th of September, yeah.
I felt like it was coming up. I wasn't sure.
Yeah. How was your birthday, by the way? Didn't you have a birthday?
Yeah.
Funny enough, your birthday falls on my anniversary, so I can never forget my anniversary. I always remember your birthday.
I know, August 13th.
Yes, really.
I didn't know that.
Anniversary, yeah.
We've known each other for like 2 weeks, and you never told me that.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Crazy, man.
You're not asking
Nuts.
the right questions.
I guess so.
If you want a better life, ask better questions, right?
Yeah, definitely. It was good. We went out to, I don't even remember what the place is called. I've literally been there once now.
What were you drinking?
If
you can't remember the place, what were you drinking?
So, beer, obviously.
Obviously.
But we played pool. We hung out. But the boss man did a little, hit certain numbers and bounce since it was my birthday.
Okay. That was nice.
So we hit those numbers by probably 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
And bounced over to have some nachos and fried pickles and beer and hang out, and everybody showed up. It was a good time.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome. How about you, Paul? How was your week?
You know, it's just another week in the life of a house husband. Been my life since all this started. It's been great. It's been great. It's been challenging. Working on getting ready to get this new business kicked off.
Nice.
Really trying to get the kids in the mindset that school's starting back.
How many kids?
I got 2.
How old?
9-year-old girl and a 6-year-old boy. Wild little thing. But, just, take care of the house, make sure the kids are okay, and trying to have a good time doing all that.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it definitely can be a challenge, I'm sure. That's
time I never would have spent with my kids if this hadn't have happened, though.
Yeah,
because I'd been at work, they'd been at school, they'd have been at summer camp. So, it's time I never would have had.
That's good.
Had this happen.
I think that's one of the things we're going to look back at after this whole situation is over and done with, and like really look back like fondly on the memories of being able to spend more time with our loved ones. Yeah, I think that's going to be one benefit that comes out of it after it's all said and done.
Mm-hmm.
I dig it. Definitely.
Nice.
I agree with that. So Paul. Okay, so this is a little rare, not uncommon though. You actually brought the beer this evening. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what you brought here?
Yeah, so we got some CBC, Carolina Brewing Company.
Nice.
They're out of Holly Springs.
Oh, Vanna
Since
White.
1995. I bought a Hop Roar. It's my favorite beer that they have. It's a IPA, but it's and it doesn't taste like your typical IPA. I don't know. It's just a good, smooth, delicious, high alcohol content beer.
Yeah.
So you said this is your favorite one by them or overall?
It's probably gonna rank up in my top 5 of beers for sure. Maybe in the top 3, but it's definitely my favorite one there. They have a bunch of good ones. It's a cool place up in Holly Springs. You go in and they got a little bar area, but they've also got tables set up in the back where all the brewing equipment is. I mean, it's a really cool place to go out. They got outdoor seating, so it's a great place. CBC down there in Holly Springs.
That's nice. I like it.
I like it too. Yep, it's a local brewery, so definitely be sure to support them. I mean, just like we were talking about, with this whole situation that we're going through now, it's more important than ever to support these small businesses and these breweries. So definitely, if you can, drink local and support local.
So it's interesting you bring that up, Gavin, because obviously
I'll only bring it up every week, but it's okay.
well, especially this week because obviously everyone in the room agrees with you, but for anyone who hasn't started their business yet, anyone who's been thinking about starting their business, I don't know how many people know, but Nick and I are starting a new segment called How to Build a Business in the Middle of a Pandemic. So
that's a good segue.
That's pretty much the bulk of the information I have right now. Obviously, as we do more editing and filming, coming out with that content, I will keep you guys posted, but please, it will be here on our channel as well, hopefully as TREK CBD's channels. So it will be very accessible, but for anyone who's been thinking about starting a business, worried about it, curious what challenges they might be facing. I know Nick's got a lot of real solid information on that, so I'm pretty excited about it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that, actually. I think it's a lot of value that's going to be creating that content. Sorry, we got a couple fire trucks outside. Uh-oh. The jig's up. Just in case you didn't know, Paul, this is not a real show. It's a front.
Be the first time I've ever been chased by a firefighter.
First time for everything.
Used to be a firefighter, too, by the way.
Nice.
Wildland fire, though.
So I'm excited for that content to come out. And I feel like that kind of plays into what you're working on, Paul, because you said this is brand new. You're just getting started. So from the beginning, because I know you've started businesses before, I know you've seen businesses start before, but tell me a little bit about like what that's like to start it from the very beginning.
During a pandemic or in general?
Yes.
To me, you're starting something because you're good at it and you believe in what you're doing. So it's really looking at what you're good at and trying to fill the voids of what you're not good at. Like that's where I've started when looking at businesses. And so I've got a business partner, Bryce, and we complement each other on our strengths and weaknesses. And so that was one of the things about this that led me to be able to do this. And, so just starting it it's got to be something that you believe in, that the product that you're putting out is something that people are going to, when you talk to them about your product or your service, they're going to see that you believe in it. You're passionate about it. And then at that point in time, then you get into the nuts and the bolts. How do we put it together? How do we make it successful? And for me, the number one thing is who is it that could use this service? Who's going to benefit from this service? And, at that point in time, then you really get into laying out what the business plan, the sales plan, the marketing plan after that. But really starting it out is what do I like to do? What am I good at? Am I passionate about it? Like I love to bake sourdough bread. I'm decent at it. It looks good. It tastes good. But never in a million years would I want to do that. Or cook barbecue. I cook a ton of barbecue, but never would I want to make a living off of that. Yeah. So it's just, that's where I've started. during the pandemic, it didn't change for me. It's the outlook of if I'm going to do this, I'm 100% in. The only thing that changes maybe are the tactics that you use to get it started, especially as a new business, something most people have never heard of, like Crushr. That's the outreach and that prospecting is going to be a little bit different because of COVID and businesses closed down. So, not much different from the beginning aspect of it for me. It was still the same steps.
Yeah, and it's very interesting that you mentioned that, because it seems like a lot of entrepreneurs that we actually talk to, it seems like they have this high level of self-awareness. Like, just like you were saying, you have to identify what you're good at, meaning you have to actually take that time to really figure out what you're really good at and what you're actually really passionate about. Have you always had that level of self-awareness, or is that something that you've kind of developed throughout the years?
No, I always have. And self-awareness is one of the key aspects of EQ, emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that. And when I found EQ, found out about it for the first time through LinkedIn, I guess about 4 years ago, I started looking at it, and the self-awareness part stuck out to me as probably one of my greatest strengths. And I think it can be learned, but for me, it was just kind of inherent, the fact of, how to explain it, but like being able to sit down and think about it from my point of view, how does it affect the people that I'm working with or that I'm helping, or something like that. So the self-awareness part was just, I think, being able to sit down and see where I am and where I want to be, and how do you get there.
Right.
'Cause I've had a lot of things that have not worked out. And
Well, that's just part of the journey.
it is.
Yeah, it's just like we talked about.
Yeah.
I mean, if you just started from the beginning and then had nothing but successes, like, what do you really have to talk about for that? I mean, there's gonna be some falling down.
Yeah.
I mean, if it was that easy, the market would be saturated, in that field. So,
And I think a lot of what goes with that too is during that journey you realize, because I'm the type of person that jack of all trades but a master of none. So I catch on to stuff real quick and I can do a lot of good things. But that journey led me to realize, to be able to figure out what I was good at versus what I could do.
right.
So that journey up to this point now has really led me into knowing, hey, I'm good at this, but it is more beneficial to have someone that does this other part of it,
Right.
because that's not my strength. And one of the two is going to fall down because it takes me longer. I'm not going to be as efficient. Whereas if I stay in my lane on what I'm good at, but if something happens and I need to take care of, this issue, I know I can do it, but it's not where I'm going to be successful or where the business is going to be successful.
Okay.
So
Right.
the self-awareness comes through that journey of realizing that it's okay to ask for help.
Yeah.
And to find it is where you need that help.
Right. It's about putting the people around you that in those pieces where you feel like you're weak at, and focusing in on your one thing, like that thing that
team.
you.
Team
Yeah,
of teams.
team of teams. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, it is.
Yeah.
And I come from a sports background too. So I grew up playing football, basketball, baseball, football in college. So that team aspect. It is, when you look at it. I mean,
Same thing.
there's everything specialized. Your quarterback it and playing center and quarterback.
Right. Exactly.
So it's being able to figure out how to put that team together.
That's
So-
very valuable.
Would you say, Paul, because I know you said like the ultimate goal hadn't really changed or nothing, but would you say you guys kind of shifted gears a little bit when the whole pandemic hit versus when you first started?
We really started after the pandemic had hit.
Okay.
So, what I was doing before was predicated on being out and about and networking and generating prospecting leads in business,
Yep.
being out. Well, when COVID hit and school shut down, I went straight to being a house husband, stay-at-home dad / school teacher. And so, there was no getting out, and I had to really sit back and realize, look at where I was with that business and where that was going, and then I had to look at what other opportunities might be out there. So, Bryce and I, we've known each other, but we kind of formed our team after COVID had hit and kind of in the midst of it.
Yeah. That's crazy, man.
It is.
But you think about it. You think about '08, '09 in the housing market. There were people that lost everything.
Yeah.
Same here. I mean, there are folks I know a lot in the restaurant industry, and it's the same thing. There's always opportunities
Exactly.
that arise from the ashes.
Exactly.
And I can't remember who I was talking to the other day, but for me, it's like these times, if you're a bartender and you lost your job during these times and you've been thinking about this great business idea that you have, but that steady paycheck, that steady income as a bartender is there, so you're scared to leave it because
Right.
I'm scared to leave what I have. But when it's no longer there, what are your other options?
Right.
Well, now's a great chance for me just to, go out and do it.
Right.
And so there's opportunity that's created amongst the chaos.
Yeah, I forgot who said it, but a lot of the most successful businesses right now were actually created in down markets. And I mean, you look at businesses like Amazon that was created like right during the tech bubble, and you look at businesses that are flourishing now. A lot of them were actually created when there were down markets and depressed markets. And just like you were mentioning in real estate, I mean, I know a lot of people who made a lot of money in real estate in 2007, 2008, 2009 because when others were fearful, they knew what was a good deal and took advantage of the marketplace. I mean, so, there is a lot of value in, just like you said, the way that you look at it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a tremendous amount of value in the way that you look at it. I mean, if you think it's going to be horrible and, life is all over, then that's what you're going to get. But if you see it as, a myriad of opportunities, then that's what you're going to get out of it.
And people are more afraid to lose what they have than to not get what they want.
Well, it's all risky. I mean,
Yeah.
life is risky. I mean, if you look at the so-called security of a job, that's risky too. I mean, most jobs don't want you to stay there and retire. I mean, they want to do whatever, get as much out of you as they can, and then be rid of you after you've kind of ran your course. They don't want to pay that pension. So yeah, so I mean, it's all risky.
It's so true.
So might as well get out on the field and play.
I was just thinking because when you were talking about that, Paul brought it up. I went from because Toya and I want to buy a house and get married and have kids. Pretty typical stuff.
White picket fence.
They all cost money.
Yeah,
Even the fence.
it does.
And so I was like, all right, well, with this failing, I should go out and get a big boy job. So I did. It was still full commission.
Exactly.
So I know why you're laughing because
It's a big boy job.
it's like it's in one sense, like depending on how you look at it, in one sense it's going from, it kind of, to some it would seem like going from one problem to basically the exact same problem in a sense. Okay, because owning your own business, being a business owner, being self-employed, however you look at it, is full commission. Going into a full commission sales position is still full commission. But because you guys brought that up and you were talking about like flourishing and being successful in that down market,
Right.
Full commission is not only something that I've done before, but it's also something I view as more opportunity than a 9-to-5 hourly paycheck.
Absolutely. I mean,
And so it's-
on that token, I mean, we've had this conversation. I mean, I don't think I haven't worked an hourly job. Like every job I've had has been commission based since I was 20.
Isn't that crazy?
It's crazy. Like,
And
when
you
think
just look
about
at it as like that's just
that's
just the way it is.
But it's just like you said. I mean, it's just self-awareness. Like, I kind of figured out from an early age. You take the example of the factory worker. You have two factory workers. They're working a manufacturing line, and they both get paid $15 an hour. One is doing an outstanding job. The other one is just getting by. Guess what? They're both making the same amount of money for two totally different effort. Two totally different efforts.
Some people would look at that, well, God, you just went from being your own boss to having a boss. Well, in that 100% commission job that you took, though, you didn't have to pay rent.
Right.
You didn't have to pay the electric bill.
Exactly.
So, you weren't the money going into that business wasn't yours. So it gave you the opportunity to focus on growing that business, which is your business. If you're 100% commissions, but you didn't have the worries of all the other stuff that went with being the guy.
And then to a certain degree, the
instead of
track
working
is kind of
guy.
paved to a certain degree. I mean, the path is kind of paved to a certain degree. They tell you, if you do X, Y, and Z, depending on how much effort you put in, that's going to determine your success. But to a certain degree, the path is laid, which is awesome.
Yeah, I just thought of that because I feel like you were basically the same, especially with what you used to do and kind of navigating into your own business now.
Yeah.
Like it's the same concept. It's full commission, but so many people were tied down to that hourly, that paycheck, and it's like that's my 9 to 5. And then when this all started,
What
it's
happens?
gone.
Yeah, and that's your definition of success too,
That's
right?
true.
Some people's definition of success is having a job where they know how much they're going to make on the last Friday of every month or every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And that's not wrong. That's their definition of success. Maybe that's
Exactly.
what life and school led to them. Other people's is being their own boss. I want to be able to, if I want to go into work at 9 o'clock this morning, at 9:45, go to the golf course, I can do that. So it's just,
Right.
it's the definition of what success is to you. It doesn't make it right or wrong for anybody, but it's being able. The thing with you though, right, is what's important is being able to transition and being able to make that change because you have another goal that you want to attain, but to get to that goal, you got to take a step back and
Right. Got to
and
reach
work
the
there.
window.
What do you learn through being able to operate under this person that has let's say a successful business that's been going along, and now you're creating income, but you're also being able to either have them mentor you. And I'm a big believer in having mentors that don't know they're mentoring you. It's about asking good questions and watching.
Right. Yeah.
But watch them continue through on that business. And so,
Yeah.
that's a learning experience that you got to make sure that you're immersing yourself in to use a learning experience.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm a big proponent of, skill acquisition is definitely one of the ways. I mean, that's all it is. You're sharpening your knife, man. I mean, and you just getting better. I mean, which is the goal. I mean, at least that's my goal every day. I mean, I want to get better and better, and that only comes through, trying to develop more and more skills.
This is going to be good because the boss man is actually coming on in a few weeks, so
Oh, good.
it's
Good.
pretty exciting.
Good.
I'm excited.
I get to tell all the embarrassing stories.
Well, you guys hit the nail on the head, and that's what's funny about it is he says what you just said, Paul. He's like, y'all get to screw up with my money, and that's the entire structure of the business is you get to make the mistakes under a certain umbrella, and there's a lot of freedom. There's a lot of freedom of time and scheduling and stuff because it is full commission. So, that's part of what I like about it. It's one of the reasons why I chose it. I just thought the contrast was interesting because we've got 3 people sitting here who that's pretty much all we've known, and then a whole bunch of other people who take a view of that. I mean, I talk to them every day because I interview for our company, and they're scared or they're like, oh, it's full commission. And it's interesting that it seems to be a lot of opportunity there right now.
Yeah.
But I am curious, Paul, because it kind of sounds like you went the opposite of what I said I just did, which is, you were kind of working under the umbrella of one company, and then you started your own company. So what was that transition like, and how do you feel about kind of going, even though you were commissions before, how do you feel about jumping more into it?
There's the short answer, so I'll give the kind of medium. Like we talked about mentoring, and we talk about what your boss is doing, and they said you're able to mess up with his money. So to me, he's empowering y'all to do the job. He hired y'all because he thought that you can do the job. So he's empowering you to do it the way you see fit. And if it doesn't work, we'll sit down, we'll figure it out, right? And I say that from experience because before all this, I was a wildland firefighter for U.S. government. So, it was a 9 to 5 job. I mean, it was a lot more fun than that. And then I left that to go work for a local business guy that owned physical therapy clinics and commercial real estate. And they just wanted me to do stuff. So anyway, he empowered me. They empowered me. And it was, go try it. If you mess it up, we'll pay somebody to fix it and be a good learning experience. So, I was empowered at that point to really go off and build my skill sets. And that led me to knowing that I wanted to be a business owner, an entrepreneur. And so transitioning from the commission-based, so as my business commission-based, that's a good analogy though, under the umbrella, to this here, this is being a true entrepreneur from the sense of having the business as ours is, that's what I want. I hate to use the word branding, but I really don't have another word, because branding, Pepsi brands, Coke brands, that's branding. Their names out there. We just have to build who we are and get people to, understand what we do. Part of that's branding. I wear cat tees. I got drawers full of cat tees.
You guys are,
follow me.
God, you guys are doppelgangers, I swear. You guys are twins.
We showed up in flip-flops.
Yeah.
And transition pants. I mean, if you go on my LinkedIn, you'll see cat tees, transition pants, all this stuff. It just, to me, and I made a post on LinkedIn about it, it's being authentic. And being the authentic side of it is the branding side. So I think it's being authentic for us, for folks like us that aren't multi-billion-dollar companies.
Right.
But the transition gives me the opportunity to be who I am and work with people that, are my people. I've been successful with, and that industrial manufacturing side, blue-collar workers, I enjoy that. So the transition for me was, it's just I'm opportunistic, and I saw as a great opportunity to go into a place that I've worked in before. And so that answers your question. It's a long answer.
Yeah, it is. No, but I mean that definitely it definitely reveals the thought pattern behind why you did it the way that, or why you're doing it the way that you're doing it, which is valuable, very valuable.
Yeah, definitely. So, like 2.5 seconds ago, you mentioned working with people. So I know you talked about your business partner, but what are other opportunities in this industry and your business specifically that you're going to get opportunities to work with other people? And like, what roles are they going to be in? I know you said, obviously companies like contractors and stuff that have these dumpsters, but what other types of people are you going to be networking with and talking to?
Well, so there's two answers to that, because you brought up the word networking. And so for me, networking, if I get business through networking, that's great. If the opportunity is there to share with someone, how we help others, I'll do it. But for me, networking is really connecting with good people so that I can create micro networks with other folks. So like that's why when I met Ryan, I wanted to sit down and talk, because he fit that role as a good person, a good connector, create a micro network that we've been able to tap into to help each other numerous times. But besides that, when we're talking about folks who are prospects for us, it's going to be industrial manufacturing, logistics companies, and really contractors. Anybody who uses roll-off, 15 to 40-yard roll-off dumpsters.
Nice.
Those businesses. Okay.
And what? I guess going back to the beginning, and you're still kind of at the point where you're about to launch this business and really getting into the weeds here. What gave you the idea, or how did you come up with the idea to start this specific, like in this niche?
So for us, it is a franchise.
Okay.
And it was something that my business partner Bryce was already working on. And it comes down to it's the waste management industry, and it's one that only grows. And there's a lot of things in it, but I come from a farming background. And when we think about trash, most people just think about putting their cans out. It gets emptied once a week, or going to the dump on Saturday mornings and throwing stuff. But for me, it really goes back and ties into the environment. So, because, how we look at the landfills and how we look at trash and how we look at yard waste, all that plays a huge impact on the environment. And I think that's the greatest resource that we have as Americans is this vast opportunity to be in nature. And so, you know, personally, as you can tell, that environmental aspect for me is what I enjoy. But then the waste industry is just a growing industry, and they really there's a lot more science and engineering and stuff that goes into it that people don't know. You know, so the trash guys picking up your trash are some of the most vital people. And you can see during COVID, you can see some of these areas where the trash folks went on strike or couldn't work and what happened. So they are one of the most vital resources or vital jobs that we could have.
Yeah, definitely essential. That's for sure.
So I know earlier, Paul, you talked about the truck. So you guys have the one coming and you and your partner. So as far as, like, obviously right now we're looking at the launch, but long-term goals, where do you see you and him taking this?
It's a new industry. So we've got tons of areas of opportunity throughout North Carolina and down in South Carolina. And, you know, I mean, I could see us kind of this eastern North Carolina to the PD area of South Carolina. If anybody's familiar with the PD area, it's the kind of northeast section of South Carolina. You know, just growing this business and not just being the trash crushers, but being their waste managers. So if you think about people that have these dumpsters, you know, some of the things I have to worry about is them being overfull, them needing to get them scheduled to be picked up and waiting too long. I have a construction background. That's usually how it happened. Yeah. You know, they're doing demo. You need your dumpster emptied because you're demoing a building, and you know, it's a 24 to 48 hour wait. What do you do every time that you have to touch something on a construction job more than once? It costs money.
Right.
So now you have to do all this demo work and stack it up, and then now you have to go back out there and put it in.
Yeah.
So it's just filling a void that some people don't even know that they need somebody in to. That the only thing they have to do is call it in. You know, we fill that void of telling them when. So it's more being a waste manager, and you know, growing it into a regional area.
So with that, who would be your ideal client? You know, like with the services that you provide, like who would kind of be that ideal client or ideal industry that you are trying to target?
It's as simple as if they use a 15-yard to 40-yard roll-off dumpster.
Okay.
It's that simple. If they have that, then it's worth beating. We're going to save you at least 20%. And if we can't, we'll tell you it's not worth your time.
Right.
If we can't save you at least 20%, it's not worth your time. Okay. And, you know, I mean, it's that simple because we believe in the service and know what it can do.
So it could be, you know, small-time contractors to larger home builders or pretty much anything. That's awesome.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I mean, with all the construction in this area, I mean, there definitely is a need for it. That's for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. So, I mean, I think we touched on this a little already, but with the whole, you know, starting in a new industry, Paul, what challenges are you guys facing?
Really, the biggest thing is going to be the prospecting avenue. Not who, because it's easy. We can ride by and see if somebody has a dumpster in their parking lot.
Found one.
So it's and it goes back into COVID, right? You're not going to be a lot of the industrial companies you can't just walk into anyway, right? They got the little holding pen, as I call it, where there's a phone and a list of people to call. So it's going to be that prospecting side, especially during COVID. I think it's going to be a challenge because it's going to be new, and I've been in the house for 5 months. But I've really there's some folks that I follow on social media. Dale Dupree's one of them with the Sales Rebellion. You know, it's doing stuff differently, and it's not taking the same approach as because it doesn't matter what you do. If you're in sales, you're not competing with your other 10 competitors. I mean, you are, but you're really competing with every other salesperson that walks in the door, because they're selling too, and they're doing the same things. It's just a different product or a different service.
Right.
So it's going in there and just being different.
I like it.
But you got to try a lot of difference before you find the different that works. That's the challenge.
Yeah, that's
the
definitely
challenge.
Yeah.
Is getting back in there, and honestly, it's with any sales challenge is getting in front of people.
Yeah.
We'll if they'll come out back, we can show them what we do in 10 minutes, and it's that simple. It's that easy to see when the truck's in process.
If not, we throw them in the truck.
That escalated quickly. So now, I think normally we would have the Q&A. I have found out apparently there are some hurdles there. So I do have the link in the description of this video for people to click on. Leave us a message. It doesn't matter if you're looking to talk to Paul, ask him some questions, getting started in a franchise, getting started in the industry he's in, or if you need to get in touch with him because you deal with 15 to 40 yard dumpsters and you need someone to handle that for you and take care of it quicker, you can go ahead and click that button. Obviously, you can always reach out directly via comment or message. But, go ahead and click that button. Leave us a message for upcoming guests on the show as well. It doesn't matter if they're past, present, or future. I can get you answers for that. Gavin and I can reach out. So go ahead and send us a message as soon as I get those hurdles figured out. We'll play those live. So right now I am prospecting for people to ask us questions. And then as soon as I get my technology to cooperate, we'll get to listen to those. I'm pretty sure it's going to involve me getting 3 more sets of headphones.
Yes,
so we're going to look more and more like the Joe Rogan show.
I like it.
In no time.
and if you have any questions for Ryan specifically, you can also ask those questions there as well. It doesn't have to be a prior or previous guest or current
That's
guest.
fair. It would probably be more exciting if it was like a public forum, but.
Yeah,
I'm the only one who gets those messages. So.
Well, I mean, if the question's about you or for you, I can ask it. You like it?
That's fair.
Yeah, that's fair game.
Just read it on the air.
Yeah, it's reading on the air.
But yeah, so normally this would be our Q&A section for the audience. Like I said, the only questions we did have this evening had to do with beards, and just to make y'all come back on Wednesday when we publish the After Brews. That is the recorded section. It does happen after our live episode here, but that's where Paul and I are going to take a deep dive into how to grow a beard effectively, what it's like to have a beard, and really how much better beards are than I don't know, what's the alternative to having a beard? I don't even know what you call that.
Golly. I mean, the reason I had to grow mine out is because I'm so handsome underneath here is the only way to keep women off
cover
of
it
me
up.
after I got married.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you're that good looking and you're married,
Yeah.
I guess,
Yeah, you gotta
or
cut
if
up
you're
to no
not,
beards.
then I guess that's
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess
know.
I'm married. I'm not good looking, so that's
So that's our plug for the After Brews and what we're going to be looking into there.
And we get to find out what oil Ryan puts in his beard.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. It's super top secret.
It is super top secret, so if you want to know that, you got to listen to Afterbrew. You ready to roll into the questions we have brewing?
I'm ready. Are you ready?
I'm always ready, man.
I want you to ask yours first. That's probably my favorite question.
Okay. All right. If you could have a beer with anyone, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
I answered this a couple weeks ago, and it's Charles Darwin.
Interesting.
Yes,
Why?
Charles Darwin. Everybody thinks about the work that he did, and it wasn't the light bulb poof that just went out and he did it. His life works was made up through his entire life, and he worked on stuff in blocks and then wouldn't for months or years and came back to it. So to me, that's, what does that look like? What made you put something down that you were so invested in to go do something else, and then to come back and be able to come up with the theory of evolution? I mean,
That's interesting. Yeah, I've never. Yeah, that's a first. That's a first.
I can relate to that concept in a different way, but if I'm working on something,
Would you like to expand on that?
Much like our hiccups here with sound, and where we've gone from just you and I in an office to what we have now with the intro and the credits and all that. When I'm working on it and I run into a speed bump or something, sometimes, whether I get tired or frustrated or whatever the case is, I just don't touch it for a long time. Mm-hmm. And then I'll come back whether it's a week or 2 months later, and I'm kind of like figuring out the intro to this. I've probably been working on that for about a year now, and I'm like, oh, I could just do that. Yeah, I finally just leaving it alone long enough, I come back to it, and I'm like,
it's just the fresh eyes. I mean, I think you're just looking at it from a different perspective. That's right.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. That's a great thing about having a partner in what you're doing too. Is hey, I want to do this. Is this stupid as hell?
Yeah.
And maybe that's the answer that I want. Yeah, this looks really dumb.
Yeah.
Great, we're trying.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Because you get that, I think you get to the end quicker that way than if it's just you every day pounding your head against the desk and having the self-awareness to just put it down and forget about it until you get that the fresh ideas. Maybe there's something that's happened that, maybe there's a mental block, whatever it is. So, I mean, that's cool to hear.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
That's awesome.
All right, so Ryan 2.0, as I like to call you. Sorry, he's the better version. He wears cat T-shirts, so he definitely is the better version.
In transition.
In transition. So when you're not out playing the stay-at-home dad and teacher / trash crusher, what do you like to do for fun?
Man, I have so many things I enjoy doing. I mean, I got the 3 B's: birds, or bees, beards, and bread.
Oh,
so I've got a couple beehives I take care of. Love making artisan bread, country wine. So I got 5 gallons of country wine, watermelon wine brewing.
wow.
Long walks on the beach, play with my puppy dogs.
This section
fishing,
is starting to sound like
hunting.
a lot more like Match.com, like / eHarmony the more I think about it. So long walks on the beach. I'm like, that sounds about right.
It comes down to, I guess 3 main things. I like being out in nature.
Yeah.
I like learning new stuff. People look at me and never think that I make artisan bread.
I would have never guessed that.
and just just having fun.
That's awesome. You definitely are a Renaissance man, because those are definitely different things.
Yeah. So, okay, we've actually got 2 here we're going to talk about, but before we get into those, Paul, what content are you consuming?
Right now, it's LinkedIn. I mean, from content, it's LinkedIn. From there, I'll get books or websites or podcasts, whatever it is. But really, it's being active on LinkedIn and following the folks, especially in sales, that I know there that put out really good content.
Like who?
As I mentioned earlier, Dale Dupree with Sales Rebellion. He's a big one. Yeah. Check him out. Mark Bodner, which is local. He's over here in the Raleigh area.
Nice.
Keenan. He's a good one. Those are some of the ones I've been really active here recently, and I relate with, right? So when I say that, I relate good with those folks. You might not, but if you get on there and start going through, you'll find some money.
That's awesome.
I like it.
I do too.
This is so these 2 were brought on by Nick when I came in. He had these sitting on the counter, and I was excited because I'm always excited to learn about a new book. But Extreme Ownership, I think you talked about this.
Yeah.
How U.S. Navy SEALs lead and win.
I'm surprised you haven't read that one yet.
I haven't read it. I've heard a lot about it. I want to say it's in my Audible. Not 100% on that. It's a very clean book. I feel like he polished it when he brought it in.
Yeah.
And Team of Teams by General Stanley McChrystal. So I'm very familiar with that man.
Yeah, yeah. That definitely is good because the books I usually like are picture books, so those definitely are better than that.
So I just recently finished. And that's signed.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
That's pretty intense.
Yeah.
So I just recently finished Hal Moore on leadership. So that General McChrystal one is super interesting now.
Yeah.
But now for probably the hardest question ever, Paul. Where can people find you?
You can find me on LinkedIn, Paul Roberts. You can find me on Instagram, Paul Hills. A little bit of Twitter, Paul Hills, and Paul Roberts on Facebook.
Nice.
And we'll know it's you.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's the glorious beard
Yep.
and birds.
Yeah.
Bread, bees.
The 3 B's. I like that.
I don't know
man.
why I keep saying birds. It's not part of the 3 B's, and I don't have 4.
So that, ladies and gentlemen, is about to wrap up our show. I do want to say, if you have learned anything or gained any value whatsoever, whether it be from someone on this show, the show in general, networking, one of our guests, Paul here, or Gavin and I, then please feel free to either subscribe. You can actually subscribe by supporting us with the link below in the description of this video. It's for as little as 99 cents a month. So I know I pay $10 a month for music, so I think 99 cents a month at a minimum is something people can stomach. And our goal here, obviously, is to provide as much value as possible. That being said, we're about to wrap up our live session, but after this, we do go into After Brews. This is a more relaxed version with a possibly slightly more in-depth look at Paul and his business, but also his beard. So be sure to join us Wednesdays.
Does that mean that you go down one more button on the shirt? A little bit more relaxed. Is that?
Yeah, we can arrange that.
But when you have a beard, you don't have to.
We'll get into that as well because I definitely want to talk about that. But so the After Brews does come out on Wednesdays at 11, and then, like I said at the beginning of this episode, Nick and I are working on a phenomenal new set of segments called How to Build a Business in the Middle of a Pandemic. So be sure to stay tuned for that. That means for the 99 cents a month that you're going to subscribe for, that you get not 1, not 2, but 3 completely different episodes, 3 different views, 3 different perspectives on business, how to start it, how to grow it, how to market, how to do your research, how to network, and how to grow a beard. So once again, all that is in the description of the video. I personally would like to say thanks again to Gavin. For those who don't know, this was kind of his idea. Almost a year ago, right?
Yeah, it's almost been a year, and you can't really thank me. I mean, you're definitely the charging and the leader on this deal. I'm just hanging out, drinking beer. You called me up, said, "Hey, you want some free beer?" I said, "Yeah, I could. Price sounds pretty good. I like that."
Are there microphones involved?
Microphones involved? Could it be some cool people and drink beer? I like it. I can do that.
Really pretty behind the microphone.
Yeah.
If you go back and look at our first 2 episodes, it was, and I don't think we're quite at the anniversary yet, so I don't want to ruin it, but it was me interviewing him and him interviewing me.
That's right.
Just to kick it all off, we did like 2 or 3 episodes in one night. We're like, we'll just record this and see how it goes.
Yeah. And it's been going well ever since, yeah. You haven't killed me yet, and I'm still alive, so life is good. Life's good.
I like it.
Yeah.
So thanks again to Paul for coming all the way out here.
Yes, thank you, Paul.
I know it was a little bit of a hike, but I appreciate you making the trip.
And thank you for doing the intro, too, as well. We appreciate that.
That was me.
I know. Well, it was Ryan 2.0. It wasn't Ryan 1.0.
Hey, I appreciate y'all having me on, too. You know?
No problem, man. No problem. Thanks for being here.
Yeah.
I'm really excited. So normally we don't interview guests in the same industry back to back. So just tell Bryce, like, sorry. There's only 2 people in the U.S. in this industry, and we already got the other one. So sorry, man. But, yeah, I appreciate you coming on. I'm really excited to see that take off, so definitely keep us posted.
Bryce is my partner. So.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll have to get him on next time. Bryce is a good dude.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
I got a 4th microphone. So.
There we go.
We can do that. We can do we can do a reboot of this episode, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It's our show, so we can do it.
Yeah. I think we've established that you can do whatever you want to, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Don't have outside funding yet. Yeah. So all the decisions are yours.
That's right, man. That's right. So you want to take us out, or you want me to take you out, or take us all out?
Let's do it. I was just
do
going to
it.
say one last time, thanks to Nick and TREK CBD Studios.
That's right. Yeah. Nick and Scott, definitely appreciate you guys having us here and putting up with all the craziness that we drag you into. We appreciate it. Appreciate it. So, thank you guys for joining. We'll see you guys next time. I'm Gavin Vinson. This is Ryan. My beard is better